Good evening, good evening. It is first Thursday. Oh boy, I tell you, I can't believe it. The time is going so fast that we are back here again, alive again at this broadcast. You know what time it is? It is the first Thursday of September, and when it comes to the first Thursday, we always come with the testimony broadcast. And so this evening is no different. We are here, and I just want to thank you for those of you who are on Facebook, for those of you who are on YouTube. I just want to thank you for joining us this evening. We have a very interesting program for you this afternoon. But if this is your first time, if you have not hit that subscribe button there on YouTube, you just need to hit it, or hit the notification button so that you can know when things are going on with the Bible Patrolman. We don't want you to miss any of the broadcasts. And so again, I just want to thank you. Call a friend and let them know that the testimony broadcast is on. I have an interesting couple this afternoon who is going to join me, and they're going to testify. So I want you to fasten your seatbelt. For those of you who ask, what is the testimony broadcast? It is based on Revelation chapter 12 and verse 11, where he says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and what? And by the word of their testimony. And so we just want to thank God. Who did they overcome? The enemy does not like. We're talking about the devil. He does not like when you share your testimony, when you tell what God has done for you, where he has brought you from. And so that's what this broadcast is all about. And again, I want to thank you again for joining us this evening. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking. I want to make sure that I bring on our guest this evening. And this afternoon, we have joining us is Calvin and Kathy Mann. They are joining us this evening to share their testimony. And as I welcome them this afternoon to the broadcast, welcome Calvin and Kathy.
Hey, how you doing?
Good evening.
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm excited. I'm excited to see you all on the broadcast this evening. Boy, I tell you, people are watching from all over the globe. They are telling me how they are enjoying the testimony broadcast. And so I'm glad that both of you all are part of it this afternoon. So you're going down in history this evening. You are on the testimony broadcast.
Woo-hoo.
And again, I thank you all for joining us. And so we want to get right into it. Calvin, I want to start out with you. I want to thank you because I over the years now I've gotten to know you, and I found out that you have served our country. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You have served our country.
I have, and Kathy has also. And
Oh
so
wow! See,
she
I'm
actually
learning
served
something
before I
new.
did. And so,
Wow!
but I served the country as a police officer in Memphis for almost 10 years. And then when I was in anesthesia school, I joined the Navy. So I was in the United States Navy Reserves. I was a commissioned officer in the Navy Reserves and did that for almost 10 years as well. But this young lady did the same thing.
Wow. See, I didn't see. I'm learning something. So tell us a little bit about it. For those of you who are joining us, we're talking. See, the program this evening, we're talking about tenacity. And these people have a drive. They don't stop. They just keep on going. And I'm just learning something here on the broadcast. So, Kathy, can you tell us about that?
Yes. So, first of all, thank you, Mark, for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. I actually was very young when I started in the military. I joined the summer before my senior year in high school. I did boot camp. And so I did boot camp. My goal was to go into nursing. And so, I saw the military as a way to help to pay for school and also to get the training. Needless did I know that military does not offer nursing training. So I was operating room technician, did my military training, graduated from nursing school and became a commissioned officer. So I was a second lieutenant and was in the Army Reserves for 8 years and absolutely loved it. It was an amazing experience.
Wow, wonderful. See, I'm learning, so I have to put that one down in my book. I did not know that you served in the military. Oh, praise be to God. Thank you for that. And you say you served for 8 years.
Yes, 8 years. Yep.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. And so now, one of the things as people would see you, Kathy, they would not know. And as Calvin says, that now he's in the medical field. But what I don't know if a lot of people, because I just found this out and I did not know, just by looking at you, that you are a nurse. So
We have
that
all
you are a
kinds
nurse.
yeah.
So tell us about that. You are a nurse.
I was a nurse. Absolutely. I was a pediatric oncology nurse and a neonatal intensive care unit nurse. My first job out of nursing school was at St. Jude's in Memphis. And I worked there until we relocated to Pittsburgh, where Calvin went to anesthesia school at the University of Pittsburgh. And there I worked at the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh in the neonatal intensive care unit.
Ooh, wow, wow. Oh, well,
See,
I
Mark,
tell you,
we
you are.
went to nursing school together. I actually sat behind her in school. That's where we actually met. So we met in school. I used to sit behind her and ask her when she was going to take me out.
Yeah. I was like, take
Wow, wow. Nursing school, nursing school. You all have that drive. But as we go forward, and as I said, you all didn't stop there. You all are still in the medical field. But as we talk this evening, there's something specific that I want to talk about, because I don't think there may be those who live in the area where you are living, they probably are aware of this, but I don't think a lot of people are aware of this. And this is one of the things that drove me to you all this afternoon. And I want us to spend some time talking about it, because there's something that you all have venture into. You are now owning your own business. You own your own business. And so the business that you all own, you all are into real estate. So I want you to tell the audience a little bit about the real estate business that is named after you all.
Okay. Okay. So I in 2005 is when I started real estate. I was pretty much when Calvin finished anesthesia school. I was pretty much at home with the kids and worked what we call PRN in nursing. Worked very, very part time. And I wanted something that was a little more flexible than nursing. And so real estate, I said, okay, I'll see if the entry into real estate really wasn't that hard at the time. So I took my exam, passed the exam. That was in 2005. It started off, honestly, as a hobby. But I've been doing real estate ever since. I started my own company in 2007. I've had an independent brokerage up until May of this year. We became franchise owners of Coldwell Banker, CK Realty. And we are the only African-American owned Coldwell Banker franchised in the state of Alabama. We're only one of, I think, maybe three or four in the nation that is African-American owned. And so very, excited about the new venture that we're on. We have so far 20 real estate agents in our office that's a part of our team. And so very excited about what God has in store for us with this new venture.
So tell me this, because as you look at the people are saying, how can an African American couple have a real estate? Because I've, to be honest with you, I've never seen it. I always see other people. So tell us, walk us through it. How is it that you all can get to own your own franchise?
Well, Mark, I want to say something. Is Kathy will jump into that, but Kathy probably won't say it. But what helped us out a lot also is that Kathy has an impeccable reputation in the real estate community in Huntsville, Madison, Alabama. When I say, and not only that, but she's been on some national committees also, and so she has an impeccable reputation. She was also, and I don't know if you know this, elected. She was the first African American woman president of the Huntsville Area Association of Realtors. And so, and we have almost, how many realtors we have in our association?
At the time, it was over 2,000.
And so, and she was the first African American woman to be elected to be the president over all of those realtors. So that reputation that she had, the reputation within the community, helped bolster us as far as starting our own franchise and getting our footing in. So when we jumped into this and we looked at franchising and doing our own thing, initially with the first company we owned was an exit franchise. And so we had an exit franchise. We bought into that, got into that. That grew. We had about 15 agents. And Kathy was like, she liked it, but Kathy's like, I want to do my own thing. So we went independent, and we're called, oh, what was our name?
CK Man.
CK Man.
CK Man Realty.
And
Yeah.
when it was Exit.
Oh, it was Exit Realty
Exit
first.
Realty.
Yeah.
Exit Realty first was our
Yeah.
first company. And from
Okay.
there, we just branched from Exit Realty first to CK Man. And then we went from CK Man to we actually joined Legend Realty, who were asked to partner with a group of gentlemen that started a franchise here in the city. They came to us and said, hey, we want you guys to join, because again, goes back to Kathy's impeccable being known throughout the community in the real estate world here. So they came and asked us to join them, to buy in to their group. So we bought into their group. And then after about a year, Kathy said, I want to do my own thing again. And then we went back to independent. We had our own independent company. And then from there, an awesome opportunity arose that Kathy jumped on, where we became Caldwell Banker franchisees. And it was something where they were looking for African Americans and looking for minorities. And once they met Kathy, it was a slam dunk. They were like, "Oh, this is unreal. We definitely got to get this lady and these guys on our team." And so, and we just took off from there. We don't look at anything as, we're not doing anything that you can't do, anything that anybody listening to this can't do. Like you said before, it takes tenacity and drive. But man, we stayed on our knees a lot too, and so that was a huge thing. Is we stayed on our knees, because we don't know everything, and we're still learning. This is a daily process, but God is guiding, and God is leading us, and as long as we let Him lead, we don't think we can fail.
Kathy, tell us about being in that world, because normally in some of those worlds, it's a man's world. It's a man's world, but here we have a young, bold African American woman who is very tenacious, in going after what she wants. How does that help you in your field?
For me, I'm not afraid to seek opportunities. Like if it's something that I want, I go for it. So I don't have a fear of failure. I don't have a fear that it may not work out. I do trust the instinct. I listen to God's voice. If I get a feeling or I get a sense for God, this is not the opportunity for you. You need to move on to something else. I listen to that. But if it's a door that I think God has opened for me, I'm not afraid to walk through it. And so, when I first got my real estate license, I just went all in with education, attending the events, learning as much as I could about real estate, showing up. And a lot of times I was the only African-American person that would be in the room, one of very few. And so, but, that didn't bother me. And I just, felt like if it was something that I wanted, I felt like God had in store for me, or opened a door for me to walk through. I knew that I could do it, and that God would provide the rest.
Wow. For those of you who are just joining us, this is the first Thursday broadcast, and we are testifying today. I have Calvin and Kathy Mann who are here with us, and they are telling us how God has blessed them to start their own company in real estate. This is something rare to see an African American couple that has their own company in terms of real estate. And so I haven't seen any other one out there, but I'm familiar with this one now. And so I'm just so excited to see what God is doing. And so now you are in this real estate. How many other African American have you come across that owns their own real estate?
So when I started in 2005, in our market here in Huntsville, I can think of maybe 5 or 6 Black-owned real estate brokerages. Now there are several, which is a good thing. My whole thing with doing this franchise with Coldwell Banker is that, people that look like me, women that look like me, or just women, period, they can see someone taking this opportunity and doing well with the franchise, say, hey, if she can do it, then, I can do it. And so to be able to set that example is that to me is very rewarding. And because I've had people across the country, once I purchased the franchise, once we became franchisees, I started to get phone calls from other Black real estate brokerage owners who are independent, who were thinking about the opportunity of franchising with other, Co-op Banker and some of the other national franchise firms. And so for me, that's very rewarding for people to look at, what I'm doing and say, hey, that's an inspiration. And it's inspired me to either open my own brokerage, or it's inspired me to get my real estate license and become a licensed realtor. And so, that's a huge blessing.
Wow, wonderful! Because I said not until you all are franchised with this, I've never heard of Caldwell Banker.
Yeah,
But
a lot of people thought we were a bank. They wanted to see if they could get a loan. I was like, no, we're not.
And the thing about it, Mark, Caldwell Banker is actually the #1 most reputable brand in the nation.
Yes, it is. It's. I guess you would say it's one of the upper echelons in the upper echelon of real estate franchises. So it's and that was one of the reasons I was glad to partner with them. They have a great reputation. One of the things for me is, and when I interview agents, I tell them, I say, I don't care how much money you make. #1 is integrity and making sure that you treat your clients well, you provide excellent customer service. And so Co-op Banker definitely, they've won awards for their ethics, and they're just a very reputable company that's been around for 115 years. So they are the oldest franchise in the country.
Wow, because as I say again, I've never seen it, but when I saw your company and I says, okay, that's when I started looking around at different real estate company, and I actually found one where I'm living, and so I said, oh yeah, I know that company, and that you were the first time I've seen that real estate company, but now there's one in my area. You said something about you now are mentor for other young ladies or individuals who want to go. What are some of the ways that you are mentoring others who want to go in your field?
So as I mentioned, I have 20 agents in my office. And how many guys do we have? Just three?
Me, Khalif, and
Khalil. And so, they come to me for real estate advice, and even other agents and brokers in the community, they call and ask, questions. And, I've had lunch with a broker who was an agent who was thinking about opening her own company. And she's asked me, how did you do it? What advice can you give me? So those are some of the examples. And as a broker, I'm always mentoring the agents in my office.
Wonderful. What would you say, like, for the different steps? If somebody would come to you and says, okay, I want to open up my own franchise, what kind of advice would you give to that individual?
Get your license first.
Get your real estate license. And that segues into another venture that we've just taken on. I'm now I've had the school for a year, but we're having our first class. I own a real estate school as well, Kathy Mann Real Estate School. And I'm a licensed real estate instructor. We're going to have our first class on September 13th. And this is if you want to get your real estate license in the state of Alabama, if you're licensed in Alabama. It is going to be in-house, so it's not going to be virtual. We may do some virtual classes later on. But the first step would be to get your real estate license, and then you become a broker. Now, I say that typically most owners are brokers, but there are a few instances I've seen, in Florida, a colleague of mine, she didn't have a real estate license. She just went and bought the brokerage and hired the people that she needed to do the work. So really, it's just, first of all, finding out what your why is. Why do you want to do this? And to make sure that it's something that you really want to do, because it's not easy. People think real estate is easy, and it's not.
It's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of hard work. And
long hours too.
Yes. If you don't have, and then the support. Calvin, I'm blessed to have a husband that supports me in everything that I do. And so that's a huge blessing too. So I'm very grateful to have, his support.
Wow, wonderful. For those of you who are joining us via Facebook or YouTube, today is the first Thursday, and you know what time it is. We do the testimony broadcast. I'm Baba Patrol, and we are interviewing today Calvin and Kathy Mann. They are the proud owner of their own franchise, the Caldwell Baker Real Estate Company, and I'm so proud of them. And they are sharing with us on today how they got started and what are some of the things that you can do if you would like to get into your own business. So now, Calvin and Kathy, walk me through this, because I've heard people say we are trying to get a house, and but it's so hard. What does somebody needs to know if they're coming to you and say, "I need a house"?
First thing they need to know is they need to use Kathy Mann. That's the very first thing they need to do, hands down. Anybody else would be, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from anybody else, but they got to use Kathy Mann. They can come to me. The first thing I'm going to do is say, I got the perfect person for you, Kathy
And
Mann.
that's exactly what he does, because Calvin is licensed too. He has his real estate license. And so when he helps me out, can show properties and things like that. But yes, he will say, call Kathy. But first thing you want to do is really contact a real estate professional. How do you determine what real estate agent to use? Go get references. A lot of people go online and Google and go to all these different places. And to me, that's not always the best way. Go to someone who who's had a good experience with a real estate agent, or call me and I can refer you to an agent. I have contact, like Calvin said, I've been involved in national committees, so I have a broad reach and a lot of relationships across the country. And so if you're in the area, you need a good real estate agent, I would be happy to help refer you. But the first thing you want to do is get pre-approved. You want to make sure you know how much money you have to shop with. And so, and that boils down to making sure that your finances are in order. Your real estate agent can lead you in the right direction on that as well. And we also, another business that we have, we're a HUD.
You said another business?
Yes.
We got another business too, Mark. Here's another
one. Tenacity.
Yes. I'm a certified HUD housing counseling agency, and it's a nonprofit, NID housing counseling agency. We're a subsidiary of an intermediary that's headquarters is in San Francisco or Oakland, California. And so what we do, we provide housing counseling services, pre-foreclosure prevention counseling. We do home buyer workshops once a month on the third Sunday of every month, and that's done virtually. So that's one thing that we do to kind of help prepare people for home ownership.
Because there's some preparation that's involved. A lot of people think they can't afford a house, but they can. I mean, if you're paying rent, you can afford a house. You can afford
a house, especially with the interest rates as low as they are. And there's myths that you have to have 20% down, you have to have all of this money. There's so many programs out there that can help with down payment assistance, and there are just several ways that you can attain that dream of home ownership. And it can be intimidating, but if you have the right people guiding you, it can be a very easy and smooth process.
And it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It can take some time to get to that point where you actually purchase, but it's a process. But like Kathy said, you get the right realtor to walk you through it step by step, and it's easily achievable.
Wow. Let me throw this out there as we're talking about, we're testifying here. Has there been a point, because I know you all are a go-getter, but is there a night that you just come home and you says, I'm going to hang up the key?
Yes, I have some I hate real estate days. Yes, I do. There are some days where I say, why am I doing this? But honestly, I absolutely love it. I absolutely do. So a lot of times, I tell people, I said, I probably could do this 24 hours a day if I could.
She would too.
But I have to cut it off. But it's a passion of mine. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And not to say that there are not challenges. They're not to say that, that I don't have hard days. Absolutely. It's not easy, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, for somebody who is thinking about going in that field, they really have to love what they do.
I do. Yep. And I tell people, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So that's kind of how I feel.
Oh, wonderful. How what kind of I don't know, as we testify, when you walk somebody through a property and they look at it, and you see you hand them that key, what does that do for you?
We just closed this couple, closed on a property last week, and they were just the most beautiful family. Um, did not had a bad experience with another real estate agent, and not saying anything bad about anyone else, but we were able to come in and just make that whole process um, easy for them. And they were renting and paying a large amount of money for rent. And so we were able to walk them through that process. I had another client, she's a single mom, was in the military for 20 years and had never been a homeowner. The veterans get the VA loans are some of the best loans out there. The interest rates are low. You don't have to put any money down. So it was very rewarding to be able to put her and her daughter into a house, and she didn't have to put any money down, and to look out for her, advocate for her during that process to make sure, she got into a home that she didn't have a lot of maintenance, and, she was well taken care of as far as negotiating the deal and things like that for her. So those are some of the stories that are very, very rewarding.
You probably don't see it by looking at this sweet, lovely, beautiful woman, but the woman's a pit bull, man.
No,
Man,
don't believe it.
she
No,
will,
not.
Mark. When if
No,
you are her client, man, she will fight for you tooth and nail, man. She will get you everything and then some. And it's that tenacity that you were talking about,
Yes,
man.
that's it.
She's a pit bull, man.
I'm
And
very nice.
she's
No.
very nice, but she will fight tooth and nail for her clients. Hands. I
No,
mean,
no, not the Kathy that I know. She's not a pit bull.
No, but for me, customer service is very important because it's not. I tell them it's not about me; it's about you and making sure you get whatever your goals are. Because the goals that I have for you may not necessarily be what you want, and so that's my thing. Whatever your goals are, that's what I want to help you achieve, and it's not about me. And providing good customer service. If you provide good customer service, the business will come.
Wonderful, and I know that you are both of you are leaders in your church. How does that play into your business? Are you able to share your faith? Because I know people like you are something must be different about you. How does that play a role in your business?
When we have our office meetings, I pray. I open our office meetings up with the agents with prayer.
When we interview, we tell them right off the
Yeah,
bat,
yeah,
we're Christians and we don't hide that fact.
right, right. And so, but yeah,
It's a culture that we've established, and
mhm.
that we don't hide that culture, and we openly express what we believe. So
Okay.
we don't hide that at all. And so, because none of this would be possible without that faith and without that, with God backing us. And we feel 100% that this is God led and God inspired, and we couldn't do any of this without Him. And we don't mind telling people that.
Wow, wow. Because sometimes individuals says that you have to do your professional one side, and then you have to leave your personal side out of it, and so sometimes it's hard for me to see individuals are mixing both of them together. But if you are a child of God, you can't help but incorporate both of them.
Yes. And in real estate, you have to kind of be careful with that because you have fair housing laws that are in place when it comes to
Mhm.
housing. And, religion is a protected class. So you can never, so you have to be careful with those things, but you don't ever have to deny your own faith in those situations. But so yeah, that we're not ashamed to say that we're Christians.
And
So
you can be atheist, Muslim, Baptist, Adventist, Catholic. We don't care.
right.
We gonna express the love of God one way or another. So
And let me ask you this, and sometimes people don't want to touch on this. So now that we have an African American company, franchise, how do you get to deal with your Caucasian counterparts?
Let me say something.
Go
You get
ahead.
it's a there can be a difference in the way that you're treated in the real estate world.
Yeah.
Um, Kathy has navigated that extremely well. It's almost like you have to know how to play the game. But Kathy has navigated that where she doesn't make a difference between black, white, black, white, black, black, white. Doesn't make a difference. She's gonna treat anyone and everyone the same. But having said that, there are certain things that you will get and learn from a Kathy man that you won't get and learn from other places.
Wow, wow. And sometimes we don't want to talk about, but it's a reality because we talk about real estate, and we know about the train line, the train track, and so sometimes some of those things plays into real estate, and so how do you deal with those? As a child of God, how do you deal with the railroad running through the city?
Well, I guess basically you're talking about racism in real estate. That's why the Fair Housing Act was put in place. So it is illegal to discriminate based off of any of the seven protected classes, but we know it still happens, right? And so as a real estate, so I do a lot of volunteer work with our board of realtors. One of the things we did, I chaired a work group that put together implicit bias training for the real estate agents at our board of realtors to kind of help with exposing people to, how to interact and what's appropriate, and just to make real estate agents more culturally aware. And so, but if you just, when a client comes to me and say they want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and they want to be on a certain side of town, I'm not going to tell them you can't live on that certain. You live wherever you want. So it's my
Mm.
job to provide you with what you're asking me for, and to give you some guidance. Give you guidance. And so, but you do. There are times when you have agents who steer. We call it steering. Like you say, you want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, but they assume that you want to be on a certain side of town based off of what you look like. And so and that's part of what we teach in our home buyer
Mm.
workshops too, is how to recognize that if you feel like you've been discriminated against, who to report it to, and how to report it, and kind of just make you aware of what your rights are and what your options are if you feel like you've been discriminated against.
Wow, wow. So for someone, how do you walk them through the process as an agent? Do you walk them through the process of to find out how to get qualified?
Yes, we do. Yes. So again, the workshops that we do on the third Sunday of every month, I have a lender, and she comes and talks about the financing portion of it, and I have someone that comes in and she talks about credit, some of the thing, and budgeting. How do how to budget? Because most people don't know. We weren't taught how to budget. How to
Yeah.
do a household budget. All that's important when it comes to managing your finances. And so, yes, we have tons of resources to help with financing.
Okay. Wonderful. And that's in house.
That is in house. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Wonderful, wonderful. This is awesome. For those of you who are joining us, this is the first Thursday, and on the first Thursday of every month, we have what we call the testimony broadcast with the Bible Patrolman, and we are here on today, September 2nd, which is the first Thursday of September, and we have with us Calvin and Kathy Mann, who the proud owner of a franchise of the Caldwell Baker franchise, and they're out of the Huntsville, Madison area there in Alabama. And they are joining us here on today just to share what God has done for them. I look at them, and the broadcast today is about tenacity. They don't give up. They continue to push. They have served all the country, from the police officer to serving in the military. Now they are working in the medical field and now having their own company, and they are sharing some tidbits with us, in terms of real estate. One of the questions that I want to ask, looking for a house, and I always hear about the score. What is the perfect score to get a house?
So, so believe it or not, you can purchase a home. FHA loans, the minimum required credit score is 580. But with 580, your debt to income has to be really low. So they base it off of your credit score. They look at your debt to income ratio. All of those are factors. Employment, how long you've been on your job. They look at all of those factors when they determine your eligibility to qualify for a home. But 640 would be ideal to qualify for just a regular FHA, VA, and conventional loan. Now, I am not a mortgage expert, but those are just some baseline, requirements. If you look at like a 640, that would be a good number to start when you're looking at qualifying for a loan. But what I suggest to people, don't talk yourself out of a pre-approval. Just go. It's not going to cost you one penny to go to a lender and say, hey, I want to get pre-qualified for a loan. Look at my credit. Tell me. They're either going to tell you, hey, congratulations, you qualify to purchase a home, or they're going to tell you, no, you're not ready, and here are the things that you need to do to get ready.
Wow. For me, I always think, if because I've seen this before, you have a person maybe paying renting a place for $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month, and they can afford $1,000 a month, and they go to get a house, and they tell them that they're not qualified.
Yeah, but it's based off of all of those different components, credit score, debt, and things like that. Another thing, I think that the media is kind of helping perpetuate this thing about it being difficult to purchase a home, is the low inventory that a lot of markets are experiencing, not enough houses to sell. And so I tell people, don't be discouraged by that either. Home ownership is so important. It's one of the few ways that we as African Americans build wealth, is through home ownership, by the equity that you can build. This is something that you can pass on to your children. And so it's absolutely important. And with the interest rates being so low, what you paying for rent, I mean, typically you can buy and have your mortgage be cheaper or equivalent to what you would be paying in rent. So I always tell people, if you can afford to rent, you can afford to buy. It just may be a process, and you have to be patient and be willing and have that tenacity to work through that process of getting your finances, or whatever it is that's kind of a stumbling block, getting all that taken care of to get you to that home ownership. So it's very doable.
Wow, wonderful. If I have somebody out there and they come to you and they says, I really don't want to own a home per se to live in, but I want to have some rental properties.
That's huge right now. I mean, when I say that's huge right now, Mark, there are people I'll give you the Huntsville, Madison area right now. People are coming here from California, from the East Coast, from all over, just to buy properties, rental properties that they can rent out. And so our market is actually getting flooded with people coming, doing just that. They bring in cash offers and buying homes. And then once they get those homes, they're renting them out, because that's going to be their source of income, because they're using that to build their wealth. And those renters that are moving in are helping them build their wealth. Some people have no choice but to rent. There are always going to be renters. I mean, there are different circumstances that require that you rent, but there are going to be those that, like Kathy was saying, those who want to buy, who have no idea they can buy, they can do it. But as far as renting and rental properties, if you can buy rental properties, fix it up, rent it out, it's a major source of income. And
Wow.
it's not that hard to do actually, but it can be done.
Wow, wow. For those of you who are just joining, if you may be on Facebook or you may be on YouTube, we just want to thank you for joining us this evening. We are talking with Calvin and Kathy Mann. They are proud owner of the Carwell Banker a real estate franchise, and so they are giving us some advice. They are just testifying of the goodness of God that has brought them from a mighty long way. We're talking about today about tenacity. They have the go with the drive to do what they're doing, and so we are so excited that they are here with us this evening and giving us some tip. If you are in the Huntsville area, Madison area, there in Alabama, you just look them up and give them a call, and they can walk you through. If this may be your second house or you may be your first house, they can help you. They're just testifying this evening about what God has done for them and able them to reach that market. And so now that you are a part of this franchise, what doors does that actually open for you?
Wow. So one of the things that was really appealing to me was were the resources that they can offer as a franchise, as an independent owner, brokerage, as an independent. I could build all the tools and things like that I need for my agents, but it would be very expensive and it would be very time consuming. And I'm kind of on the latter half of my real estate career. I've been doing real estate for 16 years. And so for me, the time to build all that was just not something that in order to be able to recruit and offer agents support that they need, was not something that I wanted to do. And so this franchise opportunity gives me mentorship. It gives me access to the CEO of the company once a month. We have a call. I have a mentoring call with him once a month. And also being able to call up other franchise owners that have had their Coa Banker franchise for a while and be able to get resources and glean information from them and how they're running their business. And because they're not in our market, they don't see us as competitors. We're not competing with each other. And so they're more likely to share and offer their resources and their knowledge and experience in running a brokerage.
Wow, wonderful, man. That is awesome that you can have all of those at your disposal, and so that you can pass it on. So are you actually, now that you have this franchise and you have I think you say 20 individuals, yeah, that are there, do you actually still go out, or you just like a coach?
I tell my agents I will always sell real estate because I absolutely love it. So yes, I do. Sometimes if I get too busy, I will partner with another agent in the office. But I still list, I still sell because I absolutely love it now. And that's a good way for me to know what's going on and staying up on, being able to service clients and knowing what's going on in the process of listing and selling, as opposed to just being in the office and just coaching. So I will always still list and sell.
Wow, wonderful! Because sometimes individuals say, and this is one of the things that we talk to individuals who are trying to own their own business. It may be real estate or whatever. They say sometimes it's so much paperwork involved. That they can't do the actual footwork.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that?
So that's why you have to have support. I have a full-time office admin that takes care of the compliance with the agents and making sure they have all the paperwork and stuff done, the way it needs to be done, and keeping me out of trouble. And then I also use a transaction coordinator that can help with, if I get too busy, that can help handle the compliance and paperwork on my side too. And again, like I said, I partner with other agents if I get too busy. So, there are ways where things that I can delegate. And one thing I tell agents too, I have one new agent who's doing extremely well. And I told her she needs a transaction coordinator to help handle her paperwork and stuff. So there are virtual assistants and there are ways to kind of help for you to delegate those things that are not income producing and keeping you from making sure that you're taking care of your clients and not dropping the
ball. Wow.
And as we grow, Mark, as we grow and this business gets bigger and bigger, we're going to add additional staff as well also.
Okay.
When you say there's a lot of paperwork and stuff involved, there's a lot of paperwork involved.
And so we're looking at some point adding a sales manager that will handle all of the training for the agents. And I'll always do the brokering part. That's something I kind of want to make sure as far as, the responsibility for the agents and answering any contract questions and things like that. And so,
wow. So let me ask you, because you mentioned earlier about the territory. Are you just limited to Alabama right now?
So actually, I have a Tennessee license. So I took my broker's exam and I got my Tennessee license. So technically I can sell in the state of Tennessee. And because, North Alabama is so close to the border of Tennessee, we do have from time to time people who are looking to buy in Ardmore, Tennessee, Fayetteville, Tennessee. A lot of my agents, I have one agent that lives close to Tennessee, and I actually have two agents that live in Tennessee.
Okay.
And so I just thought it would be a good idea for me to have my Tennessee license. And what was the question?
But what she can do also is she can refer anywhere in the nation.
Yeah.
So if say someone in Mississippi, say you're in Mississippi, you say, Kathy, I want to buy a house in Mississippi, but I have no idea who to contact. She has contacts. When I say she has contacts, Mark, she has contacts, man.
Wow.
She has contacts where she can contact different agents in different cities and different organizations, and she can hook you up with someone no matter where you are in the continental U.S. And not even just the continental U.S., but Caldwell Banker is international. She can also refer internationally as well also.
Yes, we're a global real estate company. So we're
wow.
I mean, we have over 90,000 real estate agents.
We're talking about the differences between, I guess you could say, working with people of color and working with others. There's an association, the NARAB, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, that Kathy's a part of. I'm a member also, but she's been in leadership positions in the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is predominantly African American based. And that they have conventions, annual conventions, semi-annual. They have tons of stuff that they go on. But at these conventions, and when Kathy goes to these, she networks with all of these individuals. So she has, when I say Mark, she has connections that she's made nationwide.
Great relationships.
Great, yeah.
I mean, just even on the realtor side, and then even with NARAB, which I absolutely love. I discovered NARAB in 2013, and that's when I fell in love with the organization because it's the oldest minority trade organization. And again, it was created in 1947 for democracy and housing because, Black real estate agents could not be a part of the mainstream realtor association. So they started their own association. And so absolutely love NARAB. And there's actually one in Memphis and they're across the country.
And when I say Mark, they absolutely love her also because they're trying to get her in all these different leadership positions and stuff. And it's just time-wise, you can only do so much in a 24-hour time period. You just haven't had the time to do all the stuff that they're trying to get her to do. And if you hadn't noticed by now, I'm her number one fan, man. I will.
Well, it's that tenacity, and that's what we're talking about today. We have that drive, and one of the things that I like about you all, man, is that you all a go-getter. You don't let nothing stop you. You just keep on going, and I really appreciate that for you to come in by to share your testimony and how God has blessed you. Let me ask you this, because if somebody says, and you don't have to give an exact figure or anything. Somebody says, I want to start my own franchise. Uh, uh, how much money do they need to have in order to start a franchise? If
It,
somebody want to do that, how it
it
go?
yeah, it varies. So you have, and there's a large range, anywhere
Right.
from 25,000 to I've seen some that have been as much as 100,000. And so with Coa Banker, they are the first franchise. And I will say this about Coa Banker: as far as the tools that they offer their real estate agents, the training that we offer, it's amazing. Like, if you can't, I tell people, you can't be successful with this company, then as a real estate agent, I don't know, because we have all the tools that you need to be a successful real estate agent. But as far as purchasing a franchise, and it depends on which one, anywhere from 25,000 to 100,000. Now, because I am a veteran, I am African American, and I'm a female, I did receive, there are some incentives that they offered. Of course, you had to qualify. There are a ton of people that applied for this program, but did not, were not successful in, getting a franchise. So, but that's kind of the price range. And every franchise has different requirements as to what they're looking for in order to become a franchisee.
But if you just say, Mark, you had a real estate license and you were a broker, because not only do you have to have your real estate license, but you have to have a broker's license in order to open a franchise. If you're gonna do work out of that business, you can go rent an office space.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be
a big space. It could be a one room office.
Yeah.
And you can start a real estate business with a one room office.
Yeah, we started our very first. Well, we had a big office with the exit, but with our first when we went independent, our office was 800 square feet. And maybe no, it was less than that. It was like 600 square feet. So it was a really small office, and we stayed there for 10 years. And so the office after that was 800 square feet. And my thing is, as an independent, we kept our overhead very low. Yeah. And so we really watched our overhead, and that's how we were able to, stay in business all these years. Now we're in a Class A commercial space, and it's 1,800 square feet, and it's pretty nice office. And so, like the Jeffersons, we're moving on up now.
Praise be to God. We have a few more minutes. We're almost out of time. But I need you. Somebody out there is listening, and in an overview, can you walk somebody through? They have watched you and Calvin, Kathy, and they saw how successful you are. But they don't know the behind the story. They don't know behind the scene. They don't know the hard work that you all have to put in. So just give them a brief overview how they can get to where you at.
We work together. We're a team. So, he's supportive in what I do, with the kids when they were younger. If I, had something to do, he would take care of the kids. If he had something to do, I would take care of the kids. So we've always worked as a team and kind of supported each other in, whatever it is that we're doing. But you can't be afraid of work. It just requires hard work, and you do have to balance, because we, have kids. And so thank God all our kids are amazing. We have 3 amazing children.
Grown children.
They're grown children. Yeah, they're all grown. And so for me, and prayer, honestly, all this is because of, I think, not because I don't think I've done anything special. It's just these opportunities that God has put before me. And, I'm just, again, when a door open, I'm not afraid to walk through it and take that chance and take that risk. And, but it does come with hard work, and you got to have somebody that supports you. But yeah, there are some long nights. I mean, I've worked pretty late. I've had to force myself now to stop working at 8:30. So I cut my work off at 8:30. Wow. And so,
but yeah, along with that, Mark, it's one of those things where you say you have to work together. I mean, it's not one of those things where Kathy's responsible for cooking. She's responsible for cleaning. She's responsible. That's a us thing. Yeah. So that's us. It's not, we don't have those, you're responsible, it's we. If it needs to be done,
somebody's gonna get it done.
Okay.
So it's not one of those things. If you come home and the dishes aren't done, dishes just aren't done. We'll get them done later on. So one of
Yeah,
us get them done. But it's not one of those things where if something needs to be done, you just have to work together to get
get
it
it
done.
done.
Oh, wow, wow. So if I'm hearing you correctly, one of the things is hard work, and then it's a lot of praying. You know, you have to make sure that you connect with God, and when the doors are open, I want to kind of stop right there for the next few minutes. How do you in your real estate business? How do you actually know when a door is open?
Um, you have to make yourself up. You kind of have to not be afraid to put yourself out there.
And
And
Okay.
some doors, Mark, is if it, as it cracks, you actually have to kick it open also.
yeah,
So,
sometimes
Wow.
and
if
you
Wow.
there's not a seat at the table, sometimes you
you
have
have
to
to
make
make
a
a seat.
seat. Yeah.
Right.
But
Mm.
it boils down to relationships, and you have, yeah, it for me it's been about, I've made some great relationships in real estate, and that's super, it's just super important. And knowing your craft, you have to know what you're doing. You can't fake it till you make it. Not saying that you're going to know everything. You can be in this business for 50 years and still not know everything. You're going to always be learning.
Mhm.
But you have to, invest in yourself and invest in educating yourself about your business. And it's just all about work. And we balance. We have a balance too. Like we take vacations. We have date nights, and we do things with the kids when they want us to. They're grown now; they're doing their own thing. But we take, at least one family vacation together a year. We spend holidays together and stuff like that. So I think we have a good balance.
Wow, wow, wonderful, wonderful. Well, for those of you who are joining us on Facebook or YouTube, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for joining us. This is the first Thursday. And you know what happened on the first Thursday? It is the testimony broadcast with the Bible Patrolman. And this afternoon, we've been talking to Calvin and Kathy Mann. They are so excited about their business. You know what they're doing, the real estate. They are proud franchise owner of Caldwell Banker Real Estate. And so I just want to thank them this evening for coming on the Barber Patrol broadcast this evening just to share a tidbit. And so if you are in the Huntsville, Madison area, just look them up and give them a call if you are thinking about getting a home. God has blessed them tremendously. We've been talking about tenacity, and that's what they have. They go at it. They get what they wanted. When they see the door open, they walk through. They even say sometimes you have to kick the door down or have mercy, in order to do it. And that's the boldness. But God has blessed them tremendously, and we just want to thank them for being here this evening. Calvin and Kathy, I want to give you the last word that you want to say to the listening audience out there.
And so we are located in Madison. Our office is physically located in Madison, this kind of the outskirts of Huntsville. And our office is Coa Banker CK Man Realty. And the C is all my kids, my husband, our names all start with CK. So it's CK Man Realty,
Mm.
Coa Banker CK Man Realty. And you can Google Kathy Mann to find me. Our website is cbckmanrealty.com. cbckmanrealty.com.
And we haven't done anything that no one else can do. I mean, anyone else can do what we did, because God can lead you in the same direction He's led us. If we can do it, you can do it also. I mean, we're a testimony to that God can lead you and carry you as far as you want to go. You let Him lead and guide you, and you can do anything that you set your mind to with Him leading and guiding you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, we just want to say thank you again for joining. We are running out of time. We got 2 more minutes. And for those of you who are joining us, if you have not subscribed yet, I want you to hit that button. If the button is red, you need to hit that button right about now. We will be back on next month. We will be back on October 7th. October 7th is the next broadcast, and we look forward to having another exciting program. Again, we want to thank Kathy and Calvin for joining us this afternoon to share. And I know that God is going to continue to bless them as they try to strive and to help others. They're not just there for themselves, they're there to help others to succeed as well. And so, again, I want to thank you all for coming to the broadcast this evening. May God bless you as as we continue to strive to give a word on his behalf. May God bless you.
Amen.
Thank you,
Amen.
Mark.
You're welcome.
Blessings, my brother.
Blessed.